Okay, I'm back. I'm going to work on the second page of this wonderful bank book. I am working along with Jeri at Recycled Parts for Art, Tanya at This, That, and Chat, and Lisa at Lisa, My Eclectic Life. I will put links to their channels in the description box below. This is a hangout. So the hangout is currently happening on Jeri's channel, and I will put a link to the hangout too. I've done page 1, which they did was a page weaving. They tore margins out of an old book and they wove them. Now, I may do that later on another page, but of course, I got sidetracked with my old book right away. As I was tearing pages, I got sidetracked. I found this wonderful old book on the free table at the library. It was gifted to H.J. I cannot read the last name. I think it's Schuerson, something like that. It ends in S-O-N, from D, and it's dated Christmas of 1920. I love that. That is going to go in my little art book, bank book that I'm doing, and I love the front matter here. So I'm going to save all of that. But I got all sidetracked by this book, and I pulled this Take the Wings of Morning out of chapter 1, The Wings of Morning. It starts out, Take the Wings of Morning. I love it. I just love it. So I may go to chapter 2, and I cannot even pronounce this. Peregrinatins, laughed Kate, turning to the window to hide her face. Oh, Agatha, you are a dear, but you are too funny. I love that. Oh, Agatha, you are a dear, but you are too funny. Even a 4th of July orator would not have used that word. I love it. Now, this book is copyrighted 1918, so I'm pretty sure that I can read snippets out of it without getting into a lot of copyright issues. Country Life Press, Garden City, New York. I'm loving it. Then she looked at the dollar she was gripping and ceased to laugh. The dear lad, she whispered. He did the whole thing. She was going to let us fight it out. I could tell by her back, and Adam wouldn't have helped me a cent, quite as much as he didn't want to, because Father would not have liked it. Now, I'm not sure what this story is about, but I love this word. I'm going to have to look up the meaning, and maybe I'll do that right now. I am listening to Tanya and Jeri and Lisa, but I'm going to switch over to my Google and look up that word and see what it means. Peregrinate. And you guys probably already know, but I learn things as I go. That's part of the fun. This word means a journey, especially a long or meandering one. Oh, I love that word now, a journey. It is pronounced, it's got a great big peregrination. Maybe I'll put my earbuds in and listen to it, see if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I have my earbuds into my phone while I'm doing this stream, while I'm talking to you here. So let me put my earbuds in and listen and see if I'm pronouncing this correct. Yes, peregrinations. Peregrinations. I love that word. Maybe I'll do this word on here. Now, they did the page weaving technique for page 1. I'm not sure I want to do that technique till later, but Jeri is doing a masking tape technique, and I'm wanting to use this punched words in here, these punches. I'm wanting to use the border of my, and I love how that this all got inked up over here with the sepia ink, and I think I'm going to do that again right here on this next page. I do think I'm going to glue this down, and I will probably use a wet glue to do that. And I have to tell you, my glue pot is sadly about empty, but I think I'll have enough. And do I have another one of these strips? I might have to tear one. Let me reach down here. Reach for it. Well, that's the one I tore off of. I've got another one here. Is it big enough? It might just fit. Just a little bit short, but that's okay. That's really okay because I'm going to fit a page over here anyway, I believe. Maybe I could fit this page on it like this, and just let it go like that. Let's tear this. I do not have, they are using a BankBook. Jeri sells these in her Etsy shop. I'll put a link to Jeri's Linktree where you can find all of her social media links and you can get to her Etsy shop. I buy a lot from her as I can afford it. Let's see. I think I'm going to do it like that. Now, I think I'm going to do the word here, peregrinations, a journey. It means a journey. A journey, especially a long or meandering one. I'm going to put a long meandering journey. Can I get all that on there? Now, Jeri is also doing a technique with masking tape where she is taking the piece. Well, I'm not going to tell you what she's doing because you need to go watch the video. I will say that my masking tape is not an artist masking tape, and I do know from experience, unless this masking tape is glued down, and she is gluing it down, I don't know if I want to do that here. Well, we'll see. I'll think about that masking. I will use a masking tape technique, but I'm not sure that I'm going to leave my masking tape permanently on this page. I might put it down, ink around it, and pull it up again because my masking tape is not an archival masking tape. And I think I'm going to put this right in here like this. And I am going to use, oh dear, my brushes are so sad. I need to get more water in my, I have to tell you, I am the hardest person on my brushes. I am so hard on them that I should be. And you know what? This brush has black paint in it. I haven't even washed that out. See if I can clean my brush a little here. I'm cleaning it off to the side before I dip it into my glue. Yeah. And even if it gets a little black paint on here, I don't think that I mind too much. And I should have a piece of wax paper. Let's tear another piece of wax paper. I am having fun working along with them. Although I'm kind of playing off of their techniques, but I want mine to be a little bit a different take on it. I'm wanting mine to be a little bit more of a storybook form, so I may not use the exact same techniques that they are. They are working with backgrounds today. That's what Jeri said. I asked her if the masking tape was going to be left on there permanently, and she said, yes, it's all about backgrounds today. So, and I'm carrying mine on. I am doing backgrounds, but I'm kind of carrying mine on in that I actually finished a page. And mine is more about using the vintage ephemera and telling my story as I go. Now, they'll be doing another project video here. But let's see, I'm going to work on this before I glue it down. And I glued this one down with tape that may not have been so archival, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm loving that. Take the wings of morning. Now, I'm wanting to come in with a flourish stamp on this, but you don't want to get too much. Maybe a flourish stamp for something else. I have more pages in my book than they do, so I can do some of their techniques later on if I want. While this dries, I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to work on this page. And I have been experimenting with my calligraphy lately, and I have these two manuscripts. These are pen plus gear. I have these two manuscript pens that I'm going to use when I do my final writing on this. But I also have, what did I do with it? I love it. I love it. This desk is already, I'm hunting for stuff. I have this pen plus gear chisel tip marker, and I pulled the new one out the other morning, but you know what? I'm going to use this one. And I am going to pull out some paper to practice on. And since I am not a calligrapher, I've been practicing. And I'm saving all my practice sheets for jelly prints. So this is a practice sheet. I want to write the word peregrinations. And I'm going to write it really big at first. And let's see. Let's see. Let's put some of this stuff that I don't want down. Where's my book? I have to get the book out to see how to spell the word again. Peregrinations. That was chapter 2, I think. The wings of morning. No, that was chapter 3. I skipped chapter 2, an embryo mind reader. I might come back to chapter 2. Kate was far from the physical flight as she pounced with indignation of her soul into the path with her substantial feet. Baffled and angry, she kept reviewing the situation as she went swiftly on her way, regardless of dust and heat. She could see no justice in being forced into a position that promised to end in further humiliation and defeat of her hopes. If only she could find Adam at the stable as she passed and talk with him alone. I'm looking for something I can use as a quote. I might save peregrinations for another chapter because I skipped chapter 2. Secretly, she well knew that the chief source of her dread of meeting her sister-in-law was that to her Agatha was so funny that ridiculing her had been regarded as perfectly legitimate pastime. Agatha was funny, but she had no idea of it and could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. Now, I like that. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. Could I get all that on there? If I write small, and I did my S the other day, and I want those to go, she could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. And I probably could find a bee stamp or even draw a little bee. I think that's the quote that I'm going to use. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. And I got to get that all on here. And I'm going to start out with the S. So she, S-H-E, and then I'll start writing small. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being, and then buzzy down here. I think I can, but I need to practice as I go. And do I have my autofocus off? I think I do, but I better check. I'm still new to filming with this new camera. I do. Now, this is a practice sheet, and you're seeing it pretty much white, and this is my new chisel marker, and this is for practicing. And I did the Shetland pony, and I forgot how I did it. Let's try an S. Something like that. Now, see, I don't like, I have to practice my beautiful. If I go slow and just go smooth, and then, of course, this will come down. I love the way he loops all that, scribbles down there. Let's practice this again. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm a beginning calligrapher. I kind of like that. Let's practice again. Practice my S's. They don't know I'm doing this. They go, Meri, you should practice. You should have done this all ahead of time. Yeah, I kind of like that. So if I go slow with my pen, see, and I'll use these practice sheets for jelly printing or even my mixed media. That one's not so good. I was talking while I was doing it. So all right. I think I'm ready to, you know what? And if I mess it up, I've got more ledger paper. But I'm going to take this wax paper out from underneath because it bothers me. But I'll be needing it again, so I'm just set it here. Let's go to this smaller. Is this the smaller? Whoops, that's not. That's a Sharpie pen. Where's my smaller one? That's the wider one. These are manuscript calligraphy pens. All right, so let's loosen up. Just loosen your arm motions. But I can't write real fast and get it to look nice. I have to almost write slow so I can think what I'm doing. But I don't want to go so slow that I'm hesitant and kink it up here. So let's do my S. She, and then I'll go in here. She was so, how did it go? She was so, she could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. So she could no more avoid it than a bee. Maybe I'll put the bee in a little. Bee could avoid being buzzy. I think I can get it on here. We'll try it. If I don't like it, it's just a sheet of scrap paper. I can get another one. All right. So let's get the hand motion going here. Oh, I'm liking that. All right. I took out a lot of my space in here. So now I'm going to, she, whoops, I need a could. No more. And I'm not getting my thick and thin lines in here, but I'm liking it. Avoid it. Then a bee. Let's bring a thin up line. Then, and I'm tending to want to write with my fingers, and you want to write with your hand. And the really good calligraphers, I think, keep their hand above the paper, but I'm uncomfortable doing that. I want to concentrate on getting my letters down. Then that was definitely a finger motion. B. Now I want my word B to be, I think I'm going to kind of put a small capital. And let's just. I have to laugh at it. Oh, well, it's there. A B. That's a terrible B. Could. We're going to leave it, though, because it's my handwriting. And it says this is my attempt. Could. Now I avoid. Void. Being. And then I'm going to put Buzzy in down here. B-U-Z-Z-Y. That's good enough. You know, and I should put this in quotes because this is actual a quote out of the book. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. Oh, I got buzz. I didn't put the Y on there. Oh, dear. Can I get the Y in there? I put it in there. Okay, now I want to go back to the book that I'm working in. And I almost wish I had more pictures. Now, see, this is dried pretty much, but I have the glue there, so I'm not sure how much ink that's going to receive. And what I'm thinking, now Jeri used her masking tape technique where she actually puts the masking tape down on the page, and I think she did glue it down. I'm not totally sure. Let's go back and see where they are on this. I got sidetracked with looking that word up in the dictionary. They're looking like they're working on a plastic wrap technique. They're working on a plastic wrap technique. Now I'm just going to go on with my own little journey here, my peregrination. But I may go back and incorporate some of the techniques where I actually do what they're due. I'm going to do a takeoff on Jeri's masking tape technique where I put the tape down, but I'm going to pull mine up again because this is not the artist tape, and I don't want to leave it on my page. But I do want, she's doing a masking tape background where she actually has a texture of her masking tape. And I'm going to do something very similar to that, only I'm going to use my color on this, and I'm going to pull my tape up again because, I just don't want, I know it'll get old. It will get, this type of just masking tape that you get at the store, the dollar store, the hardware store, is not an artist tape. It's a tape to use for temporary purposes. And it will pull up after a couple years. This tape will get very brittle. And now you could glue it down. It might be more permanent if you actually glue it down with your medium. I'm not saying never use it, but I'm saying that if you just use it in its natural form like this, like what I'm doing here, it is not a long-term solution, because I can tell you from experience that after 5 or 6 years, this will all get dry and brittle and pull up again. I just know. I know because I have pieces that I put on masking tape on several years ago. Not art pieces so much as papers. All right, I think I'll leave it like that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to use on here are my FW inks. And I've got wax paper underneath, and I've got wax paper. I think that I'll even, do I want to glue this down first. No, I think I'll leave this. I think I'll leave this because I'm not going to do anything to this. I do want another piece of wax paper. Now I gotta reach for it. You should see my floor. You should see my floor. It's horrible. And I'm going to water down some of this. And I think I'm even going to use the same brush that I used for glue. And I'm just going to take a little of this. Is a sepia FW ink, which means that it will be permanent. Let's take my scissor and just kind of, I don't know what all do I have on this. This is my tape. My desk is very cluttered today, and that kind of bothers me. I'm just going to put a drop on this, maybe another drop. I don't need a whole lot, and I'm going to water it down, and I may swish it on there if I have too much. I'm going to put a little spurts of water in there. I'm making a wash, sort of. And I'm going to use this same brush that I used for my glue because I don't mind that. And I'm just going to paint over my tape. Some of it might pull up. That'll be okay. We'll paint over this page too. And that might be too much. Let's get a paper towel. Let's get a paper towel and blot. Blot this. Yeah. Oh, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Now, if I had an artist tape, I think Jeri is using it because her tape is white. And that generally, they sell it as masking tape, but it really is, it's more of an artist tape, and it costs like $10 or $12 a roll. That's not what I have. I got the dollar store brand, which is still $3 or $4 a roll. Now, I think I'll just leave it like that. I'm loving that. And I'm going to pull some of this over here, even though it will be covered up. Let's take this bottom sheet, come on, and put it under here. I'm loving this paper that I'm working on. It's a nice, sturdy paper. I don't know if you can still, I got these books at Tuesday morning. Last March, I went to Lincoln. I don't get up to Lincoln very often. Lincoln, Nebraska is about 100 miles from where I live. Probably would not hurt to go that way sometime, but now I'm going to be putting this page over here. And I'll be inking this. So what I'm going to do is pull this tape up while it's still wet. Ooh. And I might come in and just kind of lightly with my brush so you can still see the tape. Let's pull it up. The tape is still wet. The ink is still wet. I have not dried this. But I don't want to leave it on my page. And as I go, I want to kind of leave the marks where that tape was, as if she had put tape on this. Let's just pretend that this BankBook had all this tape on it. And she pulled it up. Now, what did she tape down? Who knows? Peregrination is a journey. I love that word. I learned a new word today. That'll be in chapter 3. So they're still talking about their books. It looks like they might be getting ready to, I don't have my earbuds in. It looks like they might be getting ready to end their stream. Either that or they're moving on to the next page. I could sit and do this. I could sit and do this all afternoon. I might go to another page. This is pulling up. Look at that. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I'm going to go back over this with a really light wash and make it look like that she had pulled this tape up on her own many years ago. And who knows, maybe I'll put a picture in here, a photograph. Maybe I can find something in that newspaper again. I want to keep that one colored one for my front piece. And I might rename my little book instead of Daughter of the Land. I might call it The Peregrination of Katie. Peregrination, it means journey. Journey. A long journey. Ooh, I'm loving this. But I'm not sure I have enough ink for a really light wash. Let's try. Let's dip it in my water. My brush in my, oh yeah, I do. Now I'm just going to go over this with another layer. And it looks like somebody had tape on there in 1920 and decided to pull it up. Isn't that cool? Oh, I love that. Can I put this down and let's try some of that light wash around on this page. I don't know if I have enough, so I'm going to do my corners first here, my edges. And I could probably get some more out, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the effect that I want over here. Let's get just a little dab. That's all we need, just a little dab. Close that up tight, Mary. Oh, they're still working on another page. They will probably fill the backgrounds of all their pages, I am thinking. So, but I'm not sure what technique they're doing. And I'm just going to work along, and every now and then I'll glance over to see what they're doing. I need to dry this. Get this tape. Somehow I'm going to put this in my wastebasket. I pile my wastebasket. I actually use it as a secondary desk. I'll bet they're doing the napkin technique. It looks like they're gluing down a napkin. Maybe I'll do that next, whether they're doing that or not. But I love working the calligraphy in here. And I think I can get that in there. Let's dry. Heat gun alert. And I've been working about 30 minutes on this page. But I think what I'll do is break it again at the end of this page. And when I go to the next page, I will close out my video and start another stream. But I'm not quite done with this page yet. So I'm using my calligraphy technique that I'm learning. I'm not a professional calligrapher at all. Don't get that. But I'm using that, and I'm working in the little journal, and I'm following Jeri, Tanya, and Lisa's BankBook stream. That's really what is inspiring this. I don't have a BankBook. I have this little journal. And I'm kind of using ledger paper it's a pretend BankBook. You know what would be fun would be put some numbers in the background here. Let's see if I can, well, let's tape this down first. Let's tape this down, and I am using this double-sided tape to tape it in. Now this has the holes in it, so I might have to, if that tape comes through and sticks, I think on a little piece that little that it won't be much of a problem. And that is very wet there. I might have to glue this or it will tear. But let's go ahead and put this down. And you know what's fun about this is it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just fun to get in there and play. Now I'm going to pull this piece. Well, I think I'll pull this piece up like this. But I do think I'll put some if I can, very carefully. some glue stick on it. And I'll be very interested to see the condition, if this book survives 5 or 10 years, the condition of this tape. It may be archival enough, but you know, if this little book does not last 100 years, I'm not going to care. All right, let's put this in. Yeah. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. Buzzy, B-U-Z-Z-Y. Now, I think I want to draw, you know, how about a thumbprint bee with my ink? Can I do that with this ink pad? Let's practice. How about I get a thumbprint bee? Oh, Mary. Oh, yes. And then draw the little wings, maybe with my calligraphy pen. I forget what a bee wing looks like. And I could even put some yellow. Is that too much of a... I'm going to go look at it, see what a bee wing looks like, and maybe a little. And a little. Let's get some yellow. I'll put some little yellow in there too. I want to go look at a bee. I'm doing this off camera. I looked up peregrination. I want to look and get an image of a bee. I'm doing this so that I can see if I'm... Oh, their wings may be a little bit more, let's see, a little bit more wingy. Their wings, I don't think I have the wings right. Let's do another one. I have a black thumb. Whoops. It's right here, Mary. What are you doing? All right, I'm just going to press my thumb on there. And a thumbprint bee, sort of. Oh, I kind of like that, though. And then I'll draw the little head, which would probably look more like this. And their wings kind of come more like that. And maybe like that. And then he has a little, and it has some yellow in there too. I'm not sure about that wing. Their wings, really the bee I'm looking at, the wings, this wing may not be right. This wing may need to come out more like that, but we'll see. Let's put a thumbprint bee on there. I'm having fun. We'll put him right in here. Oh, I love him. I love him already. And then the head is not a circular head. The head is more of a, I don't know, a head like that. And then he's got a tail that comes down, you know, the body. And the wings, maybe. Yeah, come out like that, and well, maybe more like that. Now I need to get some yellow in that bee. And do I have yellow? Do I have yellow? Do I have yellow? Oh, you know what I have? I have a yellow Sharpie. I have a yellow Sharpie. Let's see if it comes in here. Yeah, it's not going to be yellow enough. I have an orange one. I hate to use orange. I really need a yellow paint. And you know what? I happened to get some out because they said choose a couple colors of paint. And I just need a couple little... I have to open this. I wish that Deco Arts and some of these art paint companies would put a little pull tab on these. I love it that they seal it, but they need to put a pull tab on the wrapper. I hate pulling these things off. And I don't understand why the grocery store people can do it and they can't. They need to learn. All right. It's just that Mary's fussy some days. Let's pull, and I have to tell you, oh, my poor paint pens. My poor pens. This is when I used a glue stick. I just want a little dab of of paint. And let's look at that bee again. I want to put just a little. And even kind of up here at the shoulder, maybe. And then I'll dry that. I kind of like that. And I'll come back in with the wings. Let's put my paintbrush in there. So the brush on this is okay. It's that I use the edges for a glue stick. All right, let's dry my bee. You should see. You should see my desk. You should see this area around here. It is like a tornado hit it. It is like a tornado hit it. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. All right. Let's see what's going on in their live stream. Maybe I'll put my earbuds on. They're showing a background page, and it looks like they painted it. And I'm still on this masking tape. Let's see. They're talking about a catalog. All right, I'm going to finish my bee here. Let's... She's talking about a background technique. She's talking about a painty page, I think. I have to go back and... Oh, they're talking about a transfer technique. I might try a transfer technique in here because I think my page is... Let's put some little... I'm liking that bee. I'm not sure. It looks like they're doing a painty technique. There we go. That's not a perfect bee, but it's good enough to get the point across. Now I want something over here, and what could she not avoid? I'm going to look at that newspaper. Maybe she could not avoid shopping. Maybe she could not avoid shopping. Home comfort. Even if you had a neck, as long as this fellow had a sore throat all the way down, Tossaline would quickly cure it. Well, I don't see anything in there. I'm thinking that she went shopping. Railroad timetables, telephone announcement. Have you seen Lagwood's display of fall millinery? If you haven't, make it a point to inspect this great exhibit. Millinery. I need a beautiful hat. That's a possibility. That will fit on here too. Without a doubt, the largest and most beautiful stock of popular priced millinery, which are hats, ever shown in this city. Every single new shape and trim is here in a variety that's sure to please. I love it. I love it. And you know what? This lady over here, I believe, has a beautiful hat on. So she went hat shopping. What's on the back? I think I can cut that out. She could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid buzzing. She went to the store and bought another hat. That's what she did. And she probably spent too much for it. Don't you think? But she could not avoid it any more than a bee could avoid buzzing. Now, this is coming out of that 1909 paper, and I'm using the original. I might contact Jeri and see if they've thrown all their papers away. I might want some more, Jeri. Look at that. Have you seen Ladwig's display of fall millinery? Now, these pages are curly because I've used wet media on them. But you know what? As you fold up your book and it flattens out. So the question, what I want to do here, I kind of like it just like that. I really do, because it pops out. And then over here it says she could no more avoid it than a bee could avoid being buzzy. And there's my buzzy bee. That's not the best bee in the world, but I'm not looking to be the best. I'm just looking to have fun. So let's put double-sided tape on this. It seems to work well for me in putting some of these older papers in. But you still have to be careful, because once it's down, it's down. And I got a little stickum there. I might have to curl that back a little. See, I didn't get it down. And once it hits that paper, it's hit the paper. Now, I was doing one the other morning, and I tried to pull it up, and the paper just, it stuck to my finger. And it almost became, the little fiber stuck right to my finger. It felt like felt on my finger. So, this is an old paper. 1909. And this is 2019. So this paper is what, 110 years old? This newspaper? 1909 to 2009 to 2019. That would be 100 years old. And you know what? I think I'm going to put, see, that's got a little in there that needs, I'm going to put some right in here. Now, Aunt Beck has a technique where she bends down a part. I don't think I'm going to use that here. I think I'm going to pull all of these little scrap pieces up. Now, I might do their painty technique. I'm really not too unhappy with the backgrounds on my page. I like using this ledger paper and writing the quote on one side. And I'll tell you, I have a feeling that they're going to come back with images next week and do more, or they might do the cover. I'm not sure. But I'll probably just keep working on being inspired by what they do. Oh, I'm really covering up a lot of my masking tape technique. You know what I might do here? Since I might tear, because I'd like for some of this to show, or I could just put it over to the edge here and offset it maybe. Maybe that's what I'll do rather than try to tear. I wanted my numbers to show, but they're not showing much anyway. And I want some of that masking tape technique to show. I could put more masking tape technique down here. Maybe I will. Maybe, because I think I like it centered better. And I'm going to try the masking tape technique. Now, do I want to do that? See, I kind of like it showing like that. All right, we're putting it down. We're making a decision here. See, I still got it showing in there. And I think I threw my masking tape away, or I could try putting some on there. Let's see if I can dig it out. Here it is. Maybe I could glue some of this on here like it's really glued in. Just glue it in there and see how long it lasts. All right, we'll put... Oh, good thing that I'm not hanging out with him today. I'd probably drive him batty off on my little journey here. Off of my peregrination here. My peregrination. I love that chapter 3 is the peregrination. Yeah. See, I'm pulling this tape apart after I clumped it all together. I'm going to put some down in here. And that kind of gets at what Jeri did, only I don't have a page of it. See, I like how this tells a little story. I crumbled up too much here. Let's see if I can get a few more pieces off of here. Well, Meri, you could ink up some more. No, I want to use the original stuff. Got one of my hairs on there. You know, we don't want that in there. Although a hair with a hat would not be a bad thing. Actually, it's kind of fun to have this crinkly because it looks old and worn. But I don't know if I can rescue any more out of this. Let's see. I've gone for just about an hour. It's getting time to... I think I'm going to just leave it at 3 pieces. However, let's throw the rest of this away. That'll get rid of it. Let's see. I want to actually glue this in. And I put my glue brush back in the water. Let's see. This is that glue I'm putting on the back of this. Dipping my brush in the glue. I'm going to actually glue this in. Oh, I like that. And we'll glue this piece down too. Now, Jeri, I am using your newspaper that came out of that big composition book that I purchased from you several months ago. And I think the newspaper is from Pennsylvania. And I was showing it, and a lady contacted me and said, I'm from there. I never knew that they published. Can you send me one? And I did send her one. I hope she contacted Jeri and maybe got some more. I sent her a whole newspaper out of it. So I hope she was happy with that. It took me a while to get it done. I'm horrible at mailing. I'm liking that. I am liking that a lot. But I think what I want to do now is edge this page with black. And then I think I'm going to call it done. My bee is not the most beautiful, but here again, I have to keep telling myself it's not about being the best. It's about doing your best. Now there's a quote. It's not about being the best. It's about doing your best. Well, I'm not even sure that's my best though. But it is what it is. Let's pull this off of the wax paper. Sometimes that wax paper gets in my way. Now, I have purchased ledgers. I showed you that day ledger, and I'm pretty sure that's from a doctor's office. I purchased that from Jeri. I purchased a couple little memo books from her, and I'm still in the process of altering them. I kind of got sidetracked from the one. I told a little story about the demolition of a building. And I kind of just picked that story up from the spots in my page as I did the backgrounds. And the story just fell out on the page. I should get that out and review it again. I wonder if I have that close by, because that would be a story and it would kind of fit this BankBook theme. Let's see. I think I might have it close by. Let's see if I can go get that before I close out here. I do. I found it as I found another strip there. I found it as I was cleaning up my craft room, which is still in the progress of getting organized. This is a little ledger book that I got from Jeri. It's got numbers and writing and everything in it. And I started putting watercolor. I was watching Barb Owens do her little family. At the time, she did her family more than once. This was done in April of 1918. But here was a spot that I put on there. I was working with my FW inks here. I was having so much fun with those FW inks. So it says, "She listens." And I drew a lady. Maybe I should zoom in one so you can see that better. I'm going to close out after I show you this. Let's zoom in. I have to get to my camera settings and plus. Whoops, where am I? One more plus. All right, now I have to figure out where I am here. Here. So this is a little memo book, a little ledger book, and it's a time book. Somebody's keeping track of their hours. But the little story starts out with this ink blot, and I made a lady out of it, and I wrote, "She listens." So I need to work on my calligraphy. She listens. And then you went to the next page, and I had more ink blots. And it says, "The world is waking up." And I got a tree here. I might have to back in, but I saw a tree in there and kind of the morning sun. And I put, "The world is waking up." And then you flip it to the next page. "She smooths the quilt." She smoothed the quilt. April 1926 is slipping away like a dream. She's just waking up from a dream, and she's smoothing out the quilt, and she's thinking how the month of April of 1926 is just slipping away like a dream. She's just kind of waking up, holding on to that dream. And this page, this is all inspired out of ink blots on the page. This little story just kind of popped out with the ink blots. Her family came to visit too soon. They must leave, and she will be alone again. So this is kind of like her family, and she knows that they're going to have to leave pretty soon, and she'll be alone again. And then I saw a spring daffodil here. You can tell April daffodils. I had daffodils on the brain. Spring daffodils brighten her day. It's So I did this on more than one video. And then the next page says, this one's hard to see. Right in here is a sketch of her and a little doll. She remembers the dime store doll. That's what the word says. She remembers the dime store doll. And then I saw a man over here, and he's coming out pretty good on this page. It kind of switches the story to the man, and it says, he counted the minutes, the hours, the days. He counted the minutes, the hours, the days. Get it in the center. He counted the minutes, the hours, the days. See, I'm telling a little story, and the story happens as I work on the pages. Here's the man again. He watched, he waited. And this was actually done on April 10th. So I started this one on April 4th, and here I'm on April 10th. And this story is kind of evolving as I'm working on my pages here. Every day she said a prayer, bring him home safely. And then the next page, it's talking about what he's doing. It was dangerous, but he knew he had control. Just to remember, he first would take a picture. So this was kind of done on the same day, I think. I didn't date this page. Here she is again. She never understood why. So it bops back to her and her life. And then here he is again. It was time. He could no longer delay. Kind of got tired of doing it at this point. But I wanted to tell the story because by that time I already had the story in my head. Now this is a real convoluted page, but it's a dust cloud. A dust cloud arose. The building was gone. He kicked the rubble. Something was left. So here he is looking through the rubble. Excuse me. By this time, you probably figured out that the dangerous job he was doing was destroying this old dime store building. And it's telling the story of what was left. Home now. Oh, wait, did I skip a page? No. Home now. So he went back home. He shared the photos. So he took some photos of the building before he destroyed it. And he was sharing them. And here she is. Her tears fell. She saw, and then you open it up here. Her memories are gone now. He brought home a gift. Her dime store doll. So here's her little dime store doll, and here's the end of chapter 1. And then I did not carry it on anymore because I kind of wanted to preserve some of these pages. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. But this was all the story of this lady's dime store doll. She grew up. It was April. She was alone. Her family had to go back home. And she woke up one morning in April, and she's thinking about how quickly April slips away. And this is her hubby, and he had to go away. Right here, this is her hubby. He had to go away for a job, and it was a dangerous job, and she was saying a prayer that he'd come home safely. And he knew it was dangerous, but he had control. But just before he did the job, he took some photographs. And she never understood why. And what she's not understanding is why do these sometimes really wonderful old buildings have to be destroyed? Why are they doing that? But he had a job to do, and he could no longer put it off. But he did take some photos. He was smart enough to do that. And then here's the dust cloud, and he's kicking around in the rubble. And he went home, and he was sharing the photos, and she saw one of those photos, and she starts crying. And then she remembered that Her memories are gone now, but he brought home a wonderful gift. And what he found in that rubble was her dime store doll. She got it back. The doll was still there, and it survived the demolition of the building. And she got her dime store doll back. How cool. So that's how I altered. That's one story in this little altered. This is not a bank book. This is a memo book. But I did get this from Jeri and on her Etsy store. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with these books. Now let me move some of this stuff because I moved my camera up. Or I could move the book and move my camera. Let's adjust my camera because when I zoomed in, it went over. Let's see if I can adjust it this way, this way, this way. No, this way, this way, this way. There. So now we are back to the story that I am telling now. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to, the story that's going to tell. I think I'll call this Kate because the book that I'm pulling all these quotes from is about Kate. It's the daughter of the land. And I'm pulling quotes from this. And I hope to get several chapters in here. But I'm pulling quotes and practicing my calligraphy, my fancy writing. I'm just learning it. I love these. I'm learning that from Pierre. That's his technique. And this I pulled from the newspaper. And I have, in this book, I have the front matter of this book. And I think I'm going to use it. I love this. You can hardly see it. Christmas in 1920, H.J. And I cannot read that. Something man, son. Thureson, Sherathan. I cannot read the last name, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm going to leave it just like it is. From D. So this was a Christmas present to H.J., whoever H.J. is. And look at this picture. Isn't that cool picture? So I'm going to use the front matter of this book. And as I go through the book, there are no more pictures in this, but I'm going to pull quotes. And I'll probably pull from the newspaper different things like this and this. So the pages that I did were Take the Wings of Morning. And I should probably put that in quotes. Let's just put a couple quotes there. Take the Wings of Morning. And I'll probably document in the back of this book about where I pulled everything. But I'm telling a story. Now see, that glue stick did not glue this down. Let's reach into my pot of glue. See if I can't swish some glue in here. I can. I hate to use wet glue, but that glue stick did not really glue this down good. This is old 1909 newspaper, but I did not want to wet it too much either because you wet an old newspaper and it'll just fall apart in your hands. And I'm hoping this is going to be, you can see it's already wrinkling there. So this is going to be for the front matter. I've got a full double page, a single page, and the inside cover. So I think they're about ready to end here. I think I'm going to end this video. And I don't know if I'll do another page. I'm going to find out where they are. If there's another page I can do, I might do it. Or I might just work on another video picking. I think they did a paint technique, but I want to listen more close to what they did. So thank you very much for listening to me ramble along and letting me share about the dime store doll. How fun. How fun it is to pull all this old ephemera. And that's what it is. It's old ephemera that would probably get tossed and destroyed and give them a new life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next page.